What's funny is that while it's already playing for you, it looks like it's still starting for me. And I only know that because of when I watched this back last week. Well, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a 6-week follow-up on my treatment for my hyperpigmentation, melasma, and atopic dermatitis with my dermatology PA, Leah Waller, in Reston, Virginia. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Dr. Kimberly Madison. I'm a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner, and I use social media to share my journey as a new nurse practitioner, budding entrepreneur, as a way to be a blueprint. Pretty much a blueprint. So you have some examples to follow. And just because so many people have done the same and it has made such a difference in my life, I always love to shout out Nurse Ags, Fatima Francesca, particularly when it comes to nurse practitioners, both in entrepreneurship and in dermatology. But there have been many channels, many women, many people who have helped me when I decided to wear my hair loose natural, when I decided to lock my hair, go plant-based. YouTube played a significant role in that. Today, like I said, we'll talk about my 6-week update. So normally I use this channel to share my journey as a new nurse practitioner and entrepreneur. But because I'm in the middle of getting treatment for my hyperpigmentation, melasma, and atopic dermatitis, I have this separate journey. I do these kind of videos every 6 weeks when I have my follow-up appointments. Otherwise, I'm usually here talking about, I'm not usually here talking about my skin. The neighbor's dog just started barking, so just to give you a heads up, puppy might bark too. Stick around to the end because I'm going to talk a little bit about an update that we're going to do for the podcast, the Melanin Initiative, the latest in terms of the virtual Preceptor, and also I started talking about office hours. I don't remember if I mentioned it last week, but I definitely mentioned it on Instagram, where I've been doing a social media series. So let's get into it. It's 9 o'clock. Last week it was 8:30. And I'm really going to miss losing an hour. I could have been earlier than last week, but now I'm later than last week because of that. So my 6-week update. So first of all, let me just make sure the lighting is good. Okay. Okay. We're back on the couch in the same sweatshirt. I do have other sweatshirts, but if you want to feel sorry for me, especially if you are at Transformation Church and you want to add to my collection, I'll definitely take it. So this is from Transformation Church in Tulsa. I did a contract there, and they have like a really nice little storefront in the front. And so I purchased this and something for my mom. But it's just one of those things. Like it was the first one there. It's going to be the first one there again tomorrow. So don't be surprised if you see it a lot. I'm a creature of habit. Anyway, so my 6 weeks. So in my last update, I mentioned that she said anytime I had like a flare to immediately go back to the fluocinolone oil. And so if you haven't seen that update, make sure you go back and watch it. I'm just going to kind of pick up where we left off. And so what I decided to do, since my skin was pretty sensitive at the time, and mostly my neck is where the most sensitivity is, I decided to use the fluocinolone oil for 2 weeks. But I don't even think I made it 2 weeks because I felt pretty good in terms of sensitivity and itching. And so then I just went back to the Tacro. And I haven't had it's been pretty consistent in terms of not having any problems. So I haven't used the fluocinolone oil since then. I've been consistent with the Tacro. I still have plenty of both of those. I think it helps a lot now that the weather is not as dry too, because I feel like I was really battling dryness all the time. And so that's been pretty consistent. For my neck, on my face, I was at the last update, I was doing it kind of like every other day. And so luckily I've been able to go every day, which is the goal. I mean, that's the goal that she set for me, is for both my face and my neck to be able to use the compounding medications, topical medications every day. I continue to do a moisturizer first and then put on the products. That has been really, really helpful. I did end up switching my moisturizer. Normally I use Naturium's plant-based moisturizer. But I ran out, and And the only reason I didn't replace it right away was because I had a free jar of Hydro Boost, I think it's called, by Neutrogena. And so I just wanted to test it out. I had tested out earlier in the winter and I wasn't a big fan, but because I was kind of didn't feel like my skin was as dry, I went back to it. And so I've used that for about the last week and a half or so, but I just bought another one of Naturium just because I felt like I had more consistent results with it. And so I'm going to go back to that. And then I also bought some sunflower oil because, hold on, there's a little dog hair. Some sunflower oil because it's high in fatty acids. Um, and so, yeah, I wanted to replace it, my almond oil that I have on board for both my hair and my face when I need it, particularly to remove makeup. So I started using that today and I loved it. For my face, so the main things on my forehead's just really sensitive, so I tend to use my pinky finger to put products on that helps when I'm consistent with that. And then I haven't noticed it peeling as much like I did in the first 6 weeks, I want to say, because this was my third 6 week follow up. So this last 6 weeks was probably the best 6 weeks, and so I feel really good about the progress that I've made. I feel great about the products as well. And so the products. So when I saw her the last time, she told me that I could continue to use them until they oxidized. And so the one for my neck, I want to say oxidized like 2 days after that appointment, but I was already on a break from that, so it didn't really affect me. And then my face, it lasted up until today's Sunday, a week ago. So that's pretty long. And so I requested those refills to be delivered. So they'll be here in a couple of days. And so that's given me a chance to kind of just take a little bit of a break and like really just focus on my moisturizer. And then just see how my skin does in between those kind of treatments. And yeah, I think that's it for my 6 week update. So I told her that at my visit, as I mentioned in my first video, they're following my story on their social media, and so probably the next visit we'll do a testimonial, and then yeah. So the big news, which you can see in my thumbnail, let me know what you think about that. It's a different style this time. Just kind of playing around with branding for this channel. But yeah, she cleared me for laser, the Moxie laser. Oh, I should have brought the brochure over here. But that's okay. We'll talk about it more in other videos. But it's safe for all skin tones. So I'm really, and she has used it herself, which was like a big selling point for me personally. But I didn't think she was going to clear me this early. I thought she was going to clear me like, I don't know, later in the year. So I was really surprised at that. One thing she always says is she always like kind of like tries to give me a lot of encouragement on like how long it's going to take for everything. But I told her like I'm actually really not in a rush. Like I'm pretty patient with my skin, especially because I don't want to have bad reactions. I'd rather go slow and steady. And so for me, like there's really no rush. I'm happy with the progress that we're making. And so she said that she is the opposite. Like she doesn't always wait when she needs to. And so that's kind of where that comes from. But I'm really happy with the progress. And so I did. If you're not familiar with laser, technically there's parts of the year where it's better to do laser because of the sun exposure and wanting to protect your skin from that. And so we're really at the end of the laser season, but she did clear me and I did book an appointment for April. But since then I've given it a lot of thought because I have a pretty big trip coming up in May that there's going to be a lot of sun and it's going to be hard to hide from that. I mean, I still, even, outside of these treatments, I'm really good about my sunscreen, my big wide hat, my sunglasses, shade, all those things. Really have been into that for a long time. But the amount of the extra level of protection that's required after laser, so I would get 3 laser treatments about, I think it was 4 to 6 weeks apart. Don't quote me on that. But roughly. And so that would put me April, May, June, which we're in the summer by then. And so I really just thought about it. And since I've waited all winter for the sun to come out, and even today, like right now, it's so windy. I just thought, you know what, it might be better for me to wait till the fall, which she did give me that option too. Um, so that will give me a little more time for my skin to be a little more consistent. Won't have to hide from the sun. It'll be a lot easier to be outside, which I love to do in the fall when it's dark at 5 o'clock. It'll be a lot easier than the summer trying to kind of hide from that. Yeah, and then I can put my money, well, then I can build a little savings for that, for one, because I'm working on all these other things. That I'd rather put my money in at the moment. So that's the plan. So I do need to call and make that adjustment. I did invite her to the conference, which I had wanted to do originally, but I didn't want to be too pushy in the beginning. So now we've kind of gotten to know each other a little bit. And so I thought it was appropriate. So she happens to know somebody at Diversity in Dermatology, and it just goes to show how small dermatology is. It's, of course, last minute, but I still just wanted her to know about the organization and to still join us, just like you can still join us if you haven't already. I'll put the link in the bio, in the description box. Become a member today. Uh, it's free. Membership is free. Our conference is actually right around the corner in San Antonio, Texas, at the Hyatt Regency Riverwalk, March 21st to the 24th. We're offering 22.5 CEs and CMEs. We have a bunch of lectures on all the popular topics in dermatology. We also have our career lounge, our mingle zone. We're going to be celebrating our 2023 cohort of the Achieve program participants, of which I am one. So that's one of the receptions. We have a Texas rodeo reception, which is family friendly, as well as our Mexican fiesta reception, also a family friendly event. Headshots, podcast, lots of prizes, lots of skincare. In fact, I just bought a bag today on Amazon, so strictly so I can carry on, or not carry on. What's it called when you? Because I always carry on. I never do the thing I can't think of. Check bag. So I just ordered a bag today, solely for the skincare, because last year I had some, and I think I did pack those. They were like the travel sizes, but I might have left some. I think all the full size stuff I left it, and I don't want to do that again. I had a bad experience checking luggage like almost 20 years ago now. I had trained for the Nike Women's Marathon in San Francisco. It was my first one. You spent like almost a whole year training for it. I spent every dollar I had to get out there. I had checked my bag because I didn't know, and of course it didn't show up. And so every time they would say call back at this time, I would call back at this time. And it just got closer and closer to the race, and there was still no bag. And like I said, I spent all my money to go there. I was crying on the phone to the lady. I mean, it wasn't her. I wasn't mad. I was just very disappointed. Um, and so after that, I never, I never checked bags again, unless I think maybe for an international flight or something. Um, but also, I ended up just doing half marathons after that because I didn't feel like I had to dedicate as much time, and found it to just be more fun. And it fulfilled my desire to do something long distance, and still be part of a small group of people who do it. So anyway, all that number is growing every day, but still. So yeah, so I did that. I went through my closet, realized I have more clothes than I realized because I never wear them. Which is something when you're a traveler. I remember a friend of mine, but she started traveling before me, and she was like, she said one thing she would do differently. She wouldn't overpack. I need to text her. She wouldn't overpack because she basically just wore workout clothes and scrubs, which I can attest to was basically the same. I can count on one hand how often we wear regular clothes. So yeah, if you're watching this, you're thinking about traveling, that would be my word of advice. One of them is just pack light. So anyway, I went in my closet, found out I have more clothes than I realized, and so I just need to get a couple pieces. So that's good, and so excited for that. The conference coming up. So yeah, I was talking about joining. So yeah, we have in-person events in addition to our annual conference. We do these like smaller boot camps throughout the country. And then we do a bunch of webinars, lots of educational content. We have established some new strategic partnerships, which you'll be hearing more about soon. So yeah, just stay tuned. We continue to grow and expand, and we're always looking for support. For me personally, that's I've shared many times. Um, my first job in dermatology was through Diversity in Dermatology and the work that I do with them. And as a clinician, you never think like that. And I'm just so grateful for that opportunity and to continue to work with them, um, and have that not only that working partnership, but also the mentorship that I received just by having relationships with them. So yeah, that's my secret on how to get into dermatology. So yeah, so we have that, and I don't remember why I brought it up, but yeah. But once the conference is over, I'm gonna finally put my bookshelf together and get these boxes out of here. Real quick on the podcast. So I mentioned last week, I think. Um, oh yeah, I did mention it. So there's a guy on YouTube called NDMD. He is about to start his residency. I don't Yeah, he's waiting for his match, but he applied to the anesthesiology program. But I mentioned that he started this series on 73 questions, and I linked last week to a nurse practitioner that he interviewed. Um, and so I just found him maybe like 2 weeks ago. And then I think his last video of at least of the 73 questions was like 2 months ago or something. And so it looked like he had kind of stopped the series. And it was such a coincidence. Today he posted a new video called I'm Ending the 73 Question Series by NDMD, talking about this series. And so he started it, like I mentioned last week, to help him explore the different specialties. But what I didn't know is he started it during the pandemic, and so he was more limited in his ability to kind of rotate through all these different specialties. And so this was his opportunity to kind of get a glimpse into it. And I mentioned the video quality and the production style of it, which is very, I don't want to call it casual. I guess it is more on the casual side than most of those types of videos. And so yeah, you see some of them are in locker rooms, some of them are in the OR. A lot of them, he's knocking on the door, the person's opening the door, they're inviting him in. At some point in the interview, they offer him water. Somebody's feeding their kid. Like, it's very casual because you wanted to bring like bring more humanity to the profession. And so his focus was on a lot of physicians, but like I said, there was a nurse practitioner, there was a nursing student, there was a dentist. Yeah. And I don't think he did a vet. I haven't looked at all of them. But I was really inspired by that series because I recently started doing more like nursing journey videos for the Melanin Initiative podcast, which is my podcast. If you don't know, it's a health literacy podcast, offering our nursing perspective. Um, and so when I saw the 73 questions, first of all, they get done in like 30 minutes or less. And it's a range of questions on like, what inspired you to enter medicine, a little talk about specialty, who's a good fit, who's not a good fit, their typical routine, then family life perspectives on healthcare and their job, for the future, and then advice for the aspiring, whoever they're interviewing. And so I just loved that, and I just thought it was such a great collection of questions from different perspectives, and I thought were really helpful. And so I had already decided I was going to do it. But then, and I was thinking, I was going to certainly shout him out, give him the credit. And then I was thinking like how he might feel about that. So I was so pleased in his video today that he did disclose that he's ending the 73 question series. He talked about the toll that it took on him to film those, particularly through med school, because so a lot of the times he was flying to people to do these interviews. And so he said he was pretty much on a plane every other weekend, which I can't even imagine like the cost of that, but also like just trying to get through all his schoolwork and doing that, really commendable. But he said it took a toll on him, and he just, naturally he wants to be well rested for residency. And I think, oh, also one of his last videos when he filmed it, um, he had just participated in a code, and unfortunately that patient didn't make it. And then he had to hop on a plane and go film, and he was just like, it just really took a toll on him that he had to kind of, I guess, switch gears like that. Something he doesn't, I guess, it just didn't set well with him. And he knows he's just going to have more of those experiences moving forward. And so not only is he ending the series, he's not quite sure the direction his channel is going to go. And he did share that today. But he invited any of us watching, of course, to continue it, do our own version. And so it's like, it's perfect timing for me in the show. And I wish him nothing but the best. Really, really nice guy. I know he's going to continue, obviously, in medicine, and really curious to see what he does with his video production, because he has really a lot of nice equipment, and he's gained so many skills. And it's these 73 questions that really helped his channel grow quite a bit. It's really nice, so definitely check it out. So I've sent out a recruitment a casting call today for this show. So what I'm looking for is people in healthcare, professionals in healthcare, particularly those jobs that oh, and that reminds me, I need to change that. I need to do another kind of flyer, particularly jobs that we don't hear about. So like, I feel like I feel like I just talked about this. Did I do this last week? But like, what do you call it? The medical examiner, coroner, but even like some like non-clinical positions. Just would really just love to hear about those. I just interviewed um, someone yesterday. She'll be our first PhD nurse on the show, and really insightful on what she was able to share with me. Lots of information that I didn't know about in terms of like career options, particularly when it comes to teaching. So I'm gonna look more into that. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'll stop. I'm about to get into nurse practitioner stuff. So let's hold off there. So yeah, real quick, on the virtual preceptor, I think I talked about it last week that I opened my Etsy shop. And so I do have a new banner. I have a logo on there. I love it. I love it. I want to get your opinion. Let me know what you think. I love it. It's bright, it's fresh. Yeah, I love the different brands that I get to um explore. So like Diversity Dermatology has theirs, Mahogany Dermatology has one, the podcast has their own, the DMB Dermatology MPPA group. Oh, I didn't even tell Leah about that. Oh, I'll have to do that next time. And then now the virtual preceptor. And so it's just really fun to be able to explore these different parts of my creativity. And so, yeah, that's up. So, and I just added a second book, so you can go check that out. I have a lot to learn over there. So if you're interested, I'll be sharing about that. Let me know in the comments. And then I started talking about office hours. And so on Saturdays, business Saturdays, I spend the whole day focusing on my business. And then me and my mom, we have a scheduled think tank, think and do, as Dr. McCamey would say, think and do tank. Oh, speaking of Dr. McCamey, we also just started a Friday night writer's session. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And these are just like accountability groups and kind of co-working sessions, right? Because whether it's academia, entrepreneurship, or just learning your clinical practice, like studying and stuff like that, it can get lonely. And so just knowing someone else is working at the same time, obviously you're not chatting back and forth because you're working, but it's been super helpful for me. Someone I follow on YouTube, they do co-working sessions, and I used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning when I was in Arizona to participate in them, and I just got so much accomplished. And it's like I said, it's just an accountability opportunity. So knowing that people are there and that you'll be there with them is really great. So if you want to join us, the writers group or the business one. So me and my mom have a set time, and then I started setting aside time for like all these coaching groups that I've been a part of. And so I have that hour too that I've been consistently showing up for that. And so I'm going to turn that into my office hours, because throughout the week I tend to dibble and dabble in different projects, helping people answer questions, things like that. And so I'm just going to use that time for that. It would be kind of first come, first serve. So like, I know a girlfriend of mine, her daughter's going to college. And so we really need to amp up our scholarship search. So I'll be using that time to do that. So if other students are on and they want help looking up scholarships at that time or questions, parents, teachers, counselors, mentors, friends, family, use that time for that. People who need help kind of like doing stuff with social media. It's just like office hours, open 1 hour, come on in, whatever question you have, I'll help you at that time. Yeah, I guess if you want to pick my brain about something that I can talk about, we could use it for that. Yeah, so I think I'm going to open it in April because I really need to get my house together and not take on anything else. So I'm thinking in about a month, we'll set that up, and it will probably be on Eventbrite. But I'm still exploring opportunities for that. But if you're interested in being notified, then certainly, and if you haven't already, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the content and these ideas that I've proposed. You can hit the notification bell so when you sign into YouTube, you'll see that I've posted a new video, especially when I go live. And hopefully, I haven't been consistent with the live in terms of a set time, and I don't know when that's going to happen. But when you hit the notification bell, you get notified. But we will be, so yeah, so that's for this channel. So office hours, going live. You can ask questions here whenever, if you're able to catch me at a time. The goal is to be consistent, then you could pop up here, but right now I don't have that. But I don't even know how to mute this. Oh, there we go. So that's a good sign that I need to go. So let me just make sure I mentioned everything that I wanted to. Yeah, I'll put the link to IndieMD's videos down there. My Etsy shop, Diversity in Dermatology, so you can become a member. Check out the benefits that we have for members, and see if there's anything in there that you're interested in doing. We're always looking for help. And yeah, I think that's all I have. So thank you so much for watching. In my next video, I will get back to my nurse practitioner diary series. Yeah, we'll keep talking about the business because that's what I'm really working on a lot these days. So yeah, and then it'll just be days from the conference. So maybe some more updates on that. And I think that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the time that you take to support me on my channel and all my social media platforms and all these other initiatives that I'm a part of. I appreciate it. I've spent a lot of time on the podcast lately and talking to people, and I just can't thank you enough for just dedicating your time and being willing to share your expertise and your journey, not only with me and the audience, but for the next generation. And being able to inspire them and to motivate patients in our community to just make better choices when we have more information. So I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm on Instagram every day talking about social media. We have our social media class. So my link for that is in every description box. So you can follow me there and, up your social media game. We're taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, because as clinicians, life is really busy and sometimes new things can be overwhelming. But when we just do it one day at a time, one step at a time, it really adds up over the course of time. And so I want to help you take that journey because it's not that hard and it's a lot more fun and easier when we do it together. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.